He spends the next couple of years taking acting classes, doing plays, and then just like doing a really bad job at every job.
But he's like such an intellectual. He's learning about poetry and playwrights, and he's like reading everything, and he's like getting into the craft. He loves William Carlos Williams. He's just reading a ton, going to the library all day, reading all day, and then like he would walk up and down the entire length of Manhattan and just practice soliloquies
Out loud.
because he's like, nobody was down there. He would go on like the far west side, but back in the day when it was all factories and shipping and shit, and he would just like say things out loud and practice it. I'm sorry. I love him.
I know. He was a mover at one point. How does an actor prepare? He carries a refrigerator up the stairs.
It's so, I mean, we have so many comedy friends who are movers to this day. I guess that's like,
I was like, wow, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
but he was horrible. At one point, he was like moving something. And so he went downstairs to get more stuff. And he ended up just finding a Christmas party.
And he just went to the Christmas party. And his boss came in and fired him. And he was like, oh, man. And he just like doesn't show up to a lot of jobs. At one point, his grandpa got him a construction job, which was a big deal, a pretty hard job to get. And he just called his grandpa the morning of his first day of work. And his grandpa was like, nah, I know you're not going.
But meanwhile, people in his acting class are like, listen, you're going to be a big star. And I said to him, I know, Charles, I know. And I meant it. Now, I'm not religious or anything, but I feel there's a spirit. You don't even have to call it God. In AA, they call it a higher power. Whatever it is, whatever you think it might be, that was mine. I believed it would happen, although it wasn't something I was preoccupied with at the time or really thought about at all. I just always assumed that's what was going to happen, and I accepted it. Whatever this acting thing was, I could do that.
Okay, this book makes me believe in manifestation. I know we talk a lot of shit about manifestation, but the fact that he just believed at all.
Can I say, but that's like, to me, why I don't believe in manifestation.
But he didn't do anything to make, like, we're always like with Law Roach, we're like, yeah, you were extremely prepared and you showed up and you did the work. Al Pacino did not show up.
That's not true. He shows up more than anybody else.
That's so untrue.
He is so committed to the craft. I mean, he's going to that actor studio and giving it all he has.
Okay, we'll get to the parts. There are a lot of times where he, like, his first big audition, he just like missed.
I know, but he prepared his dick off for it.
But then he didn't go to it.
But the thing is that he went to the next one, and what mattered was the preparation and the talent and the like commitment. You can't look in the mirror and say something 55 times in a row and then come out confident. You just are confident and you are committed. And I think because he didn't care about the commercial and the success, he cared about like entering the characters. And to him, it was just so important to find this universality on stage that's like, he knew it was going to happen, because if anybody tries anything for 50 years, their hardest, it'll happen. And he was prepared to do that.
I guess the thing is, I don't believe.
Al, are you listening? I love you.
I guess to me, that's why this is different from like the planning and preparation people versus like the showing up and doing people. Because we talk about this with comedy all the time. Like if you just like show up and do it constantly, eventually like you'll get opportunities. But I also think that if you miss all of your shows and don't show up, eventually people will stop calling you no matter how many times you've walked the streets and practiced your set.
But here he is, 80 years old. I feel like I understand him as an artist. Like I understand that personality of being like, I'm going to do all the work and like have all the friends and like try really hard. But he has a certain line he doesn't cross. He has certain things that he can't get
showing up.
That was one time.
It was like 4 times.
Okay, but the man worked for 80 years.
But the first 10, I'm like, how does he keep getting opportunities?
I got it. This is a collection of stories like that to like kind of get you to see him in a certain light. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's trying to show you when he was 19 years old, he was like a young idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, I stay up all night working on this thing and then I miss the audition like an idiot. That doesn't mean that for the rest of your life you can't be successful. I mean, you never made a dumb mistake at 19?
No, I did. But okay, we need to get to the rest of the story because there are like a handful of things where I was like, wow, it really was just like him and the universe making things happen despite all actions.
Okay, I feel very differently. I feel like you fell for his ruse.
I guess I did. I guess you get him. You're his next wife.
I get him.
You're his first wife, I guess.
Yeah. I respect that he has a complicated relationship with marriage and I don't need a ring.